Yo, it's the Hockey Happy Hour. I got Hurricanes and Lightning. Maddie's got Panthers and Devils. We're live reacting to just about every game in the NHL right now. So hit that like, hit that subscribe. Let's start talking about some puck. Let's go.
Let's go! This ain't the puck like he forces kick and he stinks!
Oh shit!
It's Colt!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new edition of the Hockey Happy Hour right here on A2DRadio.com. I am Matt Tsutsudi, along with the Darkwing, Brian Daley.
Yo, yo.
And the broken one himself, Mr. Rob Povia. He is unfortunately MIA this week, but he'll be here in spirit, and I'm sure you'll see him in the comments. And after that, he'll be back next week when we have a live... Yeah, he's right over here. Yeah, there he is.
There he is.
We found him. But he'll be back next week, and we will be having a live reaction to the big Hall of Fame game that'll be coming up next week. So, yeah, definitely want to check that out. But for this week tonight, here live on A2DRadio.com, the Hockey Happy Hour, we are going to be discussing the last few games that the Flyers have had. On Tuesday, we did react to the Arizona Coyotes' victory. It was a 3-0 win, albeit though the Flyers made it way harder than it had to be. Then they proceeded to take a tough loss to Pittsburgh in the first round of the Battle of Pennsylvania. However, though, they responded in kind by getting a big win in Washington, and it was Washington's first loss at home during the entire regular season so far. So, hey, Flyers are already doing what they got to do, recovering from a tough loss against one rival, beating another one, giving them their first loss on their ice, and now coming back home to get ready for tomorrow night when they take on Auston Matthews and his Toronto Maple Leafs. That's what we'll be talking about here tonight on the Hockey Happy Hour. But we also have a new segment that we're going to be bringing in, and it's basically the shootout portion, where we're going to be doing 5 quick questions and answers, and giving you our hot takes of the week, our game of the week, our player of the week. We're going to cover all of that at the end of the show. But for now, we here at the Hockey Happy Hour, as always, are brought to you by Body Check Wellness. It is a line of products created by former Philadelphia Flyers and Phantoms enforcer, Mr. Riley Colt, whom we've had the honor of having here on the Hockey Happy Hour. And his products are there for focus, clarity, dieting. It really just helps you get everything in order, get everything set up and unstructured. And at the end of the day, it will help kind of get you on that right track, because sometimes life will make you spin round and round and round and round. It's hard to get yourself, focused. This is what these will do for you. It's edibles, gummies, ointments, you name it, you got it. And if you use the A2D promo code, you get 25% off your order. And if you're a little worried about the hemp products, you can ease yourself in with THC-free as well. So there's a couple of avenues to explore. It's not just the hemp. You can ease yourself into it with the THC-free products. So they got it all covered there.
I got told today at work. I was like, I need to get myself some CBD stuff to kind of refocus my brain a little bit. I got somebody like, why would you want to do that fake weed shit? I'm like, fake weed shit? I'm like, what are you talking about? There's no weed in there. I'm like, the THC's out of it. She's like, that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's fake weed. I'm like, you don't know Body Check Wellness then. Body Check Wellness is where it's at. What's up, boys? Yo, Dan, you just mad because the Ducks are actually in a playoff spot?
I think so.
What's up, bro?
What's up, Danny? Got Moira. Hey, boys, Flyers playing great. This team is so tight and having fun. Hashtag drip season.
Drip season. Oh, my.
No, that's a response to the Flyer. I forget who was taking the video, but Sean Couturier had this funny-ass looking outfit on. And friggin' Giroux, he just looked like oh, these motherfuckers. Everybody was just like, and JJ was making the comment of, yeah, apparently Giroux was chaperoning the whole team that night. Not doing a great job.
Being a chaperone is a problem in and of itself.
We got Dylan Ushler saying, what's going on, guys? I'm a Flames fan, and we're off to a hot start. I see what you did there, Dylan. I see what you did there, my good man. But yeah.
Welcome to the show. We appreciate the comment.
Absolutely. Keep on chiming on in. All hockey fans, of course, are always welcomed here at the Hockey Happy Hour. And Chris saying, what's up, boys? What's up, Chris? Benny's Nation saying, what's up, fam? What's going on, Benny's? And by the way, with the first comment that we had read off, which was from Dan, that was brought to you by Manscaped. Listen, guys, ladies love confidence. You need that confidence if you want to get yourself some, and the way to do that is to get rid of what, Brian?
Get rid of that junk funk, baby.
Absolutely. And A2D has the 20% off code, free shipping as well with Manscaped. And also, unlock your confidence. Do it, guys. You will not regret it. They got the tools for the job. They have things like boxers available to you as well, a trimmings bag. So, when you're cleaning up down there, you're not classless. You can pick it up when you're done. But anyway, the point is that Manscaped, that's where you want to go to take care of the sensitive regions and, make sure you have your confidence unlocked. All right. And now we begin our poll question. And the poll question for tonight is a bold one. The Philadelphia Flyers will be in first place by Thanksgiving. Agree or disagree? But before we dive into the answers, one last sponsor to go through, and that is Gleason's Bar, located in 6700 Mill Creek Ave in Levittown, PA. You use the promo code A2D for 10% off of your order whenever you dine in, take out, or you go online at Gleason'sBarandSteaks.com. Listen, guys, if you're ever in the Levittown, PA area, or you're not too far off, go ahead, get some of that. It's delicious out there.
Uh-oh.
And with that, we go to the Flyers will be in first place by Thanksgiving. Bri, how do you feel about that, man?
Wow. Before I jump into the poll question, this is actually pretty awesome. I haven't seen this before. Andre Vasilevsky made a save with his skate. The puck knocked broke the blade out of his skate.
Wow.
Never seen that before. That's wild.
That's one hell of a shot.
It hit the tip of the skate blade, so it just pushed it right out. Most of those skates, for those of you who don't know, I used to work at Pure Hockey, so I have a little intel on some of the gear. It's all on a clip. So there's a trigger at the end of the skate where you just pull the trigger, popped it out. It pops right out. So it just looks like what it did was just hit the tip of the blade and just forced the skate blade out of the skate, out of the runner. So it could easily happen. I've just never seen that happen before. So as far as the poll question goes, will the Flyers be in first place by Thanksgiving? I'm gonna disagree with it. I think they have. I haven't looked too far into their schedule to see what's really been going on, but I know there's going to be a tough stretch. If they can get all their guys back by the time, the next week or so, by that time, I think there's a good chance that they could, but I don't know when Kevin Hayes is coming back. I'm not Ryan Ellis. I'm not even sure he's back yet. I haven't really been able to watch anything down here. I've been having issues with ESPN Plus. I know Dan's going to chime in and tell me to use his stream service, but
actually, he's saying Thanksgiving is over because it is up in Canada. They do it a little earlier than they do in the States.
Guess what? We're not in Canada. We're in America. We haven't had Thanksgiving yet.
Chris responded, "Not real Thanksgiving."
Chris, that's why we love you. That's why we love you, Chris. But yeah, I mean, it all depends on the schedule. It depends on how healthy they are when they, start to hit this stretch. They played well against the Capitals the other night. I thought Marty Jones did a great job in net from the updates that I got. But I mean, it's a short stretch from here, only a couple weeks. So no, I'm going to disagree. I don't think they hit first place yet in the division, Dan. So yeah, like I said, I don't think they hit it. I think they get close, but I don't think they do. I think they'll really start to hit their stride come like December, and like Chris said, by New Year's, by January, I really think they'll hit their stride. I think that's when they start to really find their way, who they really are, and their true identity as this team progresses. And I think that's when we find them slide their way in the first place is closer to New Year's. So I'm with Chris on that.
All right, then. And Anthony's saying, I think the Flyers will be in third.
I don't know if they'll be in third. I think they could find their way in the second. I mean, they're not far off. They're only 2 points behind Washington right now in the standings and 3 points behind the Rangers. So it's doable. I just think the problem here with them getting the first place in their division is Carolina. And Carolina is been one of the best, if not the best team in the league. I know Panthers are arguably up there, handing Carolina their first loss the other night. Well, it's just the way that they've been playing. You know, Freddie Anderson's been playing like the Freddie Anderson of when he was with Anaheim, and these defensive upgrades they got are really showing that, you know, they've been really good. Bringing in Derek Stepan's been huge for Carolina moving forward. I think that's going to be the tough part for the Flyers is really catch them. So I think they'll need a little bit more time. I think, like, what is it, 2 weeks, 3 weeks till Thanksgiving?
Something like that.
Just not. I don't think it's enough time for them to really catch Carolina. I mean, they're not far off, but I think Carolina's just playing really, really good hockey right now, and it's just going to be tough to catch them. I mean, they're holding Tampa Bay halfway through the second period to 5 shots. So I think they're going to be a tough team to catch.
And Dylan, Panthers Devils game is wild right now. You're right, it is. I'm watching that one. It's going crazy in the third period, or second period. Sorry. And Pete saying, Yo, fam, disagree to the poll. Benny's Nation, kind of sucks that Sealer got sent down. I understand it, but he played really well. Yeah, but he'll be back if they need someone to, you know, really liven things up in terms of the hitting side of things, or kind of add a little bit of that temper that, you know, that the Flyers need sometimes. You know, McEwen doesn't do a bad job of that either. And obviously you have Nate. You know, need I say more? Thompson's always up for a good old slugfest if necessary. Dan's saying I don't give a shit about the Flyers. You're just mad because Canucks haven't been all that great. And Dylan, he said he just got recalled.
I would say if paying attention, I was actually replying to one of Dylan's comments. What who were we talking about? Sealer?
Yeah.
5-6-1 for Vancouver. That sucks. Meanwhile, Anaheim sitting in third place in division. Who saw that coming?
I don't think anybody, even Anaheim fans.
I definitely did not. I'm pleasantly surprised. I'm expecting this all to go downhill, and we're actually going to have to talk about some unfortunate news involving the Anaheim Ducks and Bob Murray.
I saw that during the intermission. Yeah, we'll
talk
to that.
About that. Yeah, we'll talk about that a little later on. But I'm good with it. But as far as Sealer goes, yeah, I mean, it does suck. It does suck that he got sent down because he's a bit of a he does have energy that he brings, and that's something that Flyers fans love. They love that type of player. Sealer is still relatively young, though. I believe he's what, early 20s there, Matty?
Yeah, he's still young. Like I said before, we'll see him again. You know what I mean? It's like this won't be the only time we saw him. You know, like yeah, he's down now, but he could always come back up.
But again, the only reason why he came up in the first place, and I believe that's who Dylan is referring to when he said that he got recalled as Sealer, is, you know, you get Ryan Ellis back, and you have a little bit of a logjam on the defensive end. So somebody unfortunately has to go down. Well, and Sealer's unfortunately that guy. I mean, you're not going to send Sanheim down. Obviously, you're not sending Provy or any of those other guys. And
like I said before, McEwen, he's actually played rather well in his games. You know, he's actually created offensive opportunities. He's actually taken some pretty cool shots to the net. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I could see why out of the two, would you send McEwen down or would you send Sealer down? I'll send Sealer down because McEwen, he has been playing rather well. So I can roll with that, you know. And not to say Sealer hasn't been playing well either. It's just Sealer's been that guy who's been getting the chippiness going. McEwen's been generating offensive opportunities.
McEwen's been the guy who's going to drop the gloves too, and that's the other reason.
Yeah.
What I was going to add on to you, Maddie, was McEwen has been around. He's played on the roster for the Vancouver Canucks for a couple of years, and he's got the experience up here.
Yeah.
So if I'm Chuck Fletcher, I got to make that call. I'm taking Sealer out too.
Yeah.
Like it's not a shot at Sealer. I'm not saying that he's been bad or anything like that, but you got to go with the veteran presence sometimes, and that's what McEwen brings. He also brings the same type of flair, the same excitement, the same energy. Like he's a guy that's going to drop the gloves. He's going to mix it up. He's going to get under players' skin, make people take stupid penalties. So you're essentially got the same player, but they're just playing two different positions. I'd rather keep the forward and try and get the defenseman back down to get a little bit more seasoning. And Tampa Bay just took an early lead. I didn't see who scored that goal, though.
Panthers are on the power play. And Dylan saying, Flames got the Sharks tonight. Got to help your Ducks out. And here I'm hoping that the Sharks can beat the Flames because the Sharks are my team out west. So, Dylan, you get to hate on me today.
Wow. Stammer got wide open on the far circle. That was a bad defensive play there. They lost Stamkos. He had a wide open net for a one-timer.
I see. And Anthony saying the Canes are going to have a huge lead by Thanksgiving noon. None will catch the Canes.
I'm not going to say huge, but I am definitely going to say that they're going to have a decent lead by Thanksgiving.
Chucks?
I mean, it depends on where they go after that loss. It all depends on how they rebound tonight. And tonight they're down early. Oh, I shouldn't say early. Midway through the game, they're down 1-0. I'm not ruling them out, obviously, for obvious reasons. Still a lot of hockey left to be played, and they're a tough team. It's just a matter of how they bounce back from the Panthers' loss because they did get pretty much outplayed almost the entire game. Late heroics fell short, so I mean we'll see. And then Friday, Canes got the Flyers, so I'll at least get to see another Flyers game.
Hey, at least you'll be able to do that. But let's see here. We've got Frank saying, evening, guys. Like the way the Flyers are playing. I agree to the poll. And Tom saying, my guys, I agree to the poll. Let's get it. Yeah, and as for my opinion, I think with the way that the Flyers are playing now, I think if there is a stumble at any point in time, which there might very well be, you never know. There could be a moment where the Hurricanes, maybe they go on a couple of games where they lose a few in a row. Maybe they lose 3 out of 4. And if the Flyers are, hot and they're able to take advantage of a couple of teams that are not doing so well, maybe for a cup of coffee, maybe the Flyers could snag first place by the time Thanksgiving rolls around.
I mean,
but that's if a snag is hit, though. That's the thing. Like, if a snag is not hit by Carolina, then it'll be a little hard to make that case because the Flyers, unfortunately, have a couple of regulation losses here. And, it can, Carolina's really not a big fan of losing now.
No,
so
I mean, 9-1 early on here. We're through a little more than a month. It's tough because we don't know how this team's gonna rebound. We don't know a lot about this Carolina team yet. We know that they're tough. We know they're good on the defensive end. We know they have a ton of talent on the offensive side of the puck. Flyers do too. Flyers have improved. I mean, they still have a lot of chemistry to work out, and they still have to gel in some places. They got to get healthy though. Like I said, I haven't been able to keep up with the Flyers as much, so I don't know if Ellis is back in the lineup yet. I don't know what is going on with Kevin Hayes. So those are two key players that you need back in this lineup for them to really take a push.
Well, Hayes has been cleared, but they had said it's most likely he is not going to come back yet. He's eligible. He's just not coming back at this moment. Meanwhile, at the same end, Ellis has been battling some kind of injury. They haven't really said what, and it's been growing, and he's been missing a lot of the games now. Hopefully, he's in the lineup for Toronto tomorrow. They've been skating with Wade Allison. Allison is still out indefinitely, obviously, from the injury he suffered. So,
I heard surgery for Allison, but I haven't heard that he's had it or if he's going to have it. I guess they're going to use the next couple of weeks to figure out if he's going to need it and see how he's progressing. But I like hearing that they're both that Hazy and Ellis are skating because they need those guys.
Yeah.
They need them in the lineup, not just because of how good they are, but just because of their presence on the ice. Ellis is a monster on the defensive side. Him and Proby together are going to be nasty.
Oh, yeah.
And then Kevin Hayes, just having Kevin Hayes out on the ice with Cam Atkinson, two guys who know how to keep it light, know how to really just kind of calm the moment down, know how to calm players down when they're getting a little too antsy. It's going to be huge for this team moving forward. That's a big reason why I don't think they're going to be in first place come Thanksgiving. But I mean, I could be wrong. Let's hope I'm wrong.
Let's will it into existence.
Anaheim in first place by Thanksgiving. Let's go.
Yeah. Dylan's saying it's a hurdle appreciation game, so Calgary can trade for him after missing out on the Eichel sweepstakes. Actually, that's something we'll have to talk about too, since that has officially gone down.
We have to. There's a lot I want to say about that trade.
All right. So, but before we dive into the Flyers, but we'll get into
right back.
All right. So we'll get into the Flyers and we'll talk about their opening games, and this will be our first period. So we're breaking down now into first period, second period, third period, shootout, overtime. You know, the usual stuff for hockey. So our first period sponsor is brought to you by Alan Foy at eXp Realty. Listen, guys, when you're going to make a move or you're having a change of career or brokerage, you know, you want to do it right. And Alan Foy is the guy to go to at eXp Realty LLC at 302-682-8820 or visit him at alan.foy at exprealty.com. Listen, guys, don't waste any time. Get that taken care of as soon as possible because, you know, moving, change of career, big step in life, do it right. Alan Foy's the guy who's going to make sure it's done right. All right, then. So let's talk about the Flyers and their their last two games that were on the road. Obviously, they started out their road trip. They were heading out to Pittsburgh for a very important first battle in the war for Pennsylvania this particular season. Season series opens up, and the Flyers were, you know, they were, I don't want to say that they were playing like shit, but they kind of were. As the game was going along, you know, Pittsburgh had a lot of control over the puck. And this is something that really bothers me with the Flyers. And something I'm going to point out. I absolutely say this. Time of possession is very important in the game of hockey. You want to set the tone. You don't want to be chasing the game. Chasing the game is going to come back and bite you in the ass at some point. It's done it to a ton of teams. And it's done its problems to the Flyers in the past. You have to set a tone in the game. Are you going to control the puck all 60 minutes? No. It's impossible. But you want to control the puck more often than chasing it. And the problem is the Flyers were chasing it a lot. Hence why the Penguins had a lead for pretty much the entire game. Flyers never had the lead at any point. And it took a long time before the Flyers finally tied the game up and forced overtime. And even when they tied it up the first time initially, it was only like 2-3 minutes later they got another goal and they took a 2-1 lead heading into the second period. No, I'm sorry, third period. My bad. Third period, and Pittsburgh had a 2-1 lead once again. It's like you did all that hard work to get back into control of the game, and then you immediately go back to making the same mistakes, not having control of the puck, not having strong time of possession, not getting consistent pressure on Jari. These are the kind of things that I don't like to see when you have a Flyers team that's playing against Pittsburgh, your biggest rival, but just period. You want to see them have control over the puck for a good period of time. You want them to have good, consistent pressure on goaltenders. I have not seen that in a few games. And Pittsburgh was a very glaring, obvious statement on that. And the only reason why the game even went to overtime was because Carter Hart had a phenomenal game. And it's a shame that the poor kid didn't get the win in the end.
Yeah, I hate seeing that, but you're absolutely right. Hockey is a game of possession. I say it all the time. You know, teams win games by playing in the offensive zone. You're not going to win if you don't play in the offensive zone. Something we're seeing tonight, and I know it's a little related, but, you know, the Tampa Bay Lightning right now have a 1-0 lead. They have 7 shots on that, but they've had possession a lot. So, you know, it does. I'm a quality of shot guy more than a quantity. If you have 50 shots and none of them are quality, none of the shots are going to matter. Sorry, it's a scrum in front of the net. I'm waiting to hear a whistle, which
Gotcha. And the
certainly
Devils
not
did
gonna
just
blow.
take a 4-3 lead. PK Subban scored.
But I mean, the one thing that I am noticing about this team is there's still a little bit of that. We're going to play down to the competition, which is kind of what I think they did with Pittsburgh. From what I've heard from a bunch of people, that it's kind of what happened. They kind of played down to them. They didn't attack. They didn't maintain any offensive pressure, like you were saying, Maddie. And a lot of times when that doesn't happen, you're not going to create scoring chances. You're not going to create goals, and you're not going to win a hockey game because a lot of the time you're playing in your own end. You can't play in your own end in the NHL all game and expect to win. We've seen, not even just in Anaheim, but with the Flyers, we've seen so many times that, the Flyers will have a 1-2 goal lead, and then they're going to sit back the rest of the game. You can't do that. You win games by playing in the offensive zone. It doesn't matter if you do dump and chase, if you carry the puck in. It doesn't matter. You have to maintain offensive pressure. You have to maintain time of possession. That's really the best ways to win hockey games. You can still win a 3-2 game and still lead in possession.
Yeah, absolutely. But Anthony's saying, I hate when the Flyers start off slow, first 2 periods, and then third period they just turn it on, and that's why the Flyers barely make playoffs or not get in.
That plays a part of it, Ant, but a lot of it is the fact that they had a mediocre roster. And I'll say this all season long if I have to. I love the moves they made. You're bringing in leadership, you're bringing in veterans, you're shaking up the roster. It's not a roster that's essentially being led by the same 2 guys that have been leading this team for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So I know people don't like Giroux. I'm a big fan of his. I think he's still one of the best. He's going to be the best Flyer to ever wear the sweater. So
I've never
say with that what you will.
I've never understood the hate for Giroux. It's like, I mean, I get it, but it's not his fault. The team was in.
It's not just him.
I
don't mean to just jump in on you, Maddie, but think about it. Everybody wants to blame Giroux. Giroux's the reason. How many captains before Giroux have had success winning a cup?
Only one.
Right. Only one. But I don't hear anybody ever ripping Jason Smith for the year that he was a captain. I don't hear people ripping Richie.
Or Lindros.
Paul Giroux is 2 times the player that Mike Richards was.
Yeah. And then also, they don't even go back. And they don't rip anybody in the 80s when they went to the 2 Stanley Cup finals and didn't win there. It's like
I don't understand the hate for Giroux. I don't get it. He's going to be the greatest Flyer to ever wear a sweater.
I think what it is I think a lot of people were hoping that Giroux would be able to just be that dominant player and the Flyers could just ride him all the way to a Stanley Cup Finals appearance. And I feel like, well, it's not really how the game works anymore. The game hasn't worked like that for a long time. And also, to be fair, really, Giroux's captaincy was in trouble right from the very beginning, well before he took the C, because even though the Flyers did get some younger players that turned out to be really good players, like a Jeff Carter, for example, the thing is that this team was so big into stacking the deck and getting veterans and getting a lot of players that were in the twilight of their career, but still had some gas left in the tank. But when the salary cap came in, the Flyers had to stop doing that. They had to get a little bit more creative. They tried to, skeet that and try to add some depth players here and there that were still veteran players, some of them past their prime, and tried to see if they could make runs out of that. That didn't sustain very well. And ultimately, that led us down the primrose path of mediocrity, where the Flyers were in, out, to the point where Ron Hextall, when he was in charge, he realized we need to restock the shelves. It's as simple as that. We're not restocking the shelves. We're just desperately trying to ride on the coattails of Giroux and Voracek and a few other players and try to make a magic run like we did in 2010. It's just not going to work this day and age. Yeah. Yes, in the early 2000s, you could stack the deck. You had no salary cap. You can't do that anymore.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And talent is getting spread out throughout the league, and I love it. But, I don't know. Dylan's pretty much spot on here when he says that the hate on Drew is because it's popular, too. I think that's absolutely spot on. Benny brings up a good point. He does disappear in the playoffs, but I mean, how many of the other offensive players have disappeared in the playoffs in recent years? Like, where's Travis Konechny? Where was Sean Couturier? But I don't hear anybody ripping them.
Where was Hayes?
Where was Hayes?
Yeah.
I don't hear any of these other guys getting ripped. Everybody wants to rip on Giroux. I get it. He's a captain. It's all going to fall on him. He needs to hold himself and the rest of the team accountable because, he's wearing the C. But in the same breath, nobody else showed up. So how can you expect this team to win when all of your offensive stars are nowhere to be found? When Scotty Lawton is one of your leading goal scorers in the playoffs because nobody else is there.
No, yeah, you're right. And at the same time, too, my opinion is with G, also I feel like a lot of it has been, there has been a lot of pressure on him, and G has only been getting older. And I think that over time, it's going to happen. And I'm not saying that he can't he's off to a great start right now. But the thing is that the older you get, the harder it is for you to put a whole team on your back, And and to be fair, Crosby wasn't everything in Pittsburgh. Yes, he was the captain of that team, and I hate Crosby to death for that. But the thing is that look at the team they had around him. You had Malkin. You had Jordan Stahl when they won the Cup in 2009. And then Dupuis. But then you also had veteran players on that team as well who
Pascal, sorry, I said Max. I got him and Talbot. Talbot mixed up.
But Dupuis was there too, and there was a lot of great depth pieces on that team in 2009 as well. And then in obviously in the 2010s, you had Phil Kessel, you had Nick Bonino, Carl Hagelin. That one line alone was devastating. And that wasn't with Crosby and Malkin contributing. So it's one of those things of look at the team they put around them. It's like you got to put a team around it to make it work at the end of the day, and that's the truth. That's
Dylan
how
again brings up a great point. Like Dylan says, Johnny Gaudreau gets the hate in Calgary when he disappears. And it's true because, when one player disappears, it's going to affect the entire line to continue his point. But Monahan disappears when Johnny struggles. Then there's one reporter running the agenda in Calgary to run him out of town into Philly for some reason. It's just because he's from here, and a lot of the players, a lot of the people in here want him. Like I like Johnny. I got nothing but respect for the guy. But if Johnny coming to Philly does nothing for this team because he's a playmaker, not a sniper, and he'd just be white noise. He'd just be white noise. He'd be another guy in the system that just passes the puck. Johnny's only had 2 years where he's had 20 goals or more.
Yeah, something like that.
But he's had multiple seasons of 40-plus assists.
Yeah.
Which is great. And I'm not ripping Johnny at all. But I'm just saying that Johnny's a playmaker. He's not a sniper. He's not what the Flyers need. But should they trade for him and give up some of these other playmakers to get him? All right, maybe let's talk about it. But for people to sit there and say that Johnny's going to help this team, meh.
He might, but then again,
he might. You never know.
Yeah.
But, to my point being, like the same thing with Giroux. So if Voracek disappears, there goes Giroux. If Konechny disappears, there goes Giroux. If Drew disappears, there goes Couturier. So it goes in a bit of a circle, sort of.
A vicious cycle.
But no, that's even better. It is a vicious cycle because it's what happens. When one guy goes quiet, somebody else on the line is going to go quiet. So it doesn't just fall on one player. It's everybody on that line needs to figure out ways to produce, to create chances, to not even necessarily score, but just like I said, create chances. Chances, because chances, you create offensive chances, it's eventually going to find a way into the net. Yeah. And if you give yourself good scoring chances, good scoring opportunities, the puck's going to find a way into the net eventually, because this is how it's going to bounce. It's either going to go your way or it's not going to go your way. It's going to be one of the two. There's no in between.
No, you're right.
Dan, I'm with you. I don't make it much past 10 o'clock anymore either. I'm usually in bed asleep by 11:30. I am. It sucks getting old. I feel you, Dan.
But Joey's saying, I still think the Flyers play like it's Broad Street days. I don't think they play exactly like that. I think that they play more with a skill edge now. They've been trying to get more speed into the lineup, but they still have those guys who like to throw and like to have fun and throwing that body around. But you have to do that in the Metro because that's a necessity because of the fact that you've got teams like you got the Devils, you got the Rangers, you got the Penguins, you got the Caps. None of these teams are shy from throwing the body around. And
think about it.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Finish your point, Matty. I'm sorry.
I was just saying, because, it's such a close proximity and rivalry matchups, they're going to get chippy. That's just how they are in nature. So you got to have those guys to an extent. So that way you can help, have those players take that while you have the skilled players don't have to deal with it and get hurt,
Yeah, and to your point, and I was just going to build off it there. Look at the Rangers. You got Ryan Reeves.
Mm-hmm.
Capitals have Tom Wilson. Penguins have somebody, I'm sure. These teams that are in the Metro right now all have guys that can throw fists and throw their body around. This is going to do it for the Flyers. You have to go out and get those guys because you're going to need guys that are going to play gritty. Guys are going to throw the body around. Guys are going to stand up for each other, and that's something that I loved about Sealer in the first. It was the first game where he got in a fight?
I believe
or his
so.
Second game against Seattle, one of the two. It was either against Vancouver or Seattle. I don't remember, but
I think it was Seattle.
Standing up for your teammates. That's why you bring Nate Thompson back in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, great face-off guy, awesome on the penalty kill, but you bring him in for his grit because he's going to throw the gloves. He's going to stand up for his guys. He knows most of these guys. He's played with these guys before. He was a Flyer before.
Yeah.
So, you need those type of guys, but you also need those skill players, those fast players. So, you need to find a mixture of both. Some of these teams, the Islanders have Anders Lee too, so he'll drop the gloves. Matt Martin. Just to continue my point. So, you want to see that mixture of both. And the Flyers have it. I think they need to keep those guys on the fourth line and try and keep as much skill and speed on the first three. I know you have your third checking line, but you can also have a scoring third line as well. I think that's what they need. What's up, Greg? And I think they're gonna have success this year. They just got to get healthy.
No, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Well, you don't have to worry about Voracek anymore, there, Ant.
Yeah. But it's okay, though, because it seems like the Flyers have figured out what they need to do. With the way that they've changed up the top line, it seems like that's the way it should have been. Where you have Konechny sitting up there, you have Coots up there. It seems like, okay, these guys are really working well with each other. And also, Cam Atkinson has been firing left and right. A guy who wants to shoot and wants to score. He doesn't care. He'll do the selfish play if he's got to. And I like that. I like that mentality. Someone who's a little selfish, and it'll go a long way for the Flyers in terms of what they need, and that is someone who's going to shoot that puck when the time comes.
And so far, we've seen it from Cam. So,
yep.
I like what they've done. And where the hell is Prism?
I don't know. He's not here. It's very weird. It's very weird not seeing him.
Priz and Don not here.
I know.
Jesse.
I know.
Where's Jesse, too?
Well, like I said, Jesse was here last week. So, I don't know.
Where's everybody?
I don't know.
I
don't know.
Raska. Where's Raska? I saw Raska. I don't know if he's still in the chat, though. Raska, are you still here?
You need a message. Somebody needs to message Priz. Tell him to wake up.
Yeah, I'm about to. I'm going to message him on Twitter. Where's he at?
Okay. So while you do that, let's talk about the next game on the docket, and that is against the Washington Capitals. After that tough loss in Pittsburgh, they do lose in overtime. Carter Hart had an amazing game. Unfortunately, Jeff Carter, the former Flyer, made a play towards Chris Letang. Letang took the puck around the net and did the old tuck, the old wraparound. And what happened was that Carter got to the next post, but he couldn't get to the post in time, and so he was still on the inside of it. Puck actually slotted right perfectly onto his pad, where it was inside of the goal, and it perfectly crossed the line. And they did review it, but the moment I saw it from the one angle, I was like, yeah, that completely crossed the line. Doesn't matter if it's on its side. It has to completely cross the line, which it did. I knew they were going to call it a goal. So, unfortunately, it's a tough loss. But you let it roll off your shoulder. You move forward. You know you got 3 other meetings to make up for that against Pittsburgh, and 2 of them are in Philly. So you got a chance to make up for that moving down the line. You go to Washington. The Caps have been defending home turf very, very well all season long. So take a tough loss. You roll in. You put Jones in net. Jones has been playing fine, and he played well in this particular game too, making some very good saves and stoning Alex Ovechkin a couple of times. Ovechkin tried, could not score. The Flyers blanked him, actually. They kept the Caps to only 1 goal, which came to, I don't know his first name, but Gleason on the Washington Capitals, who got his first goal ever. He was a rookie. And, but the Flyers did manage to win that game 2-1, and tough victory, hard-fought victory, but there were times where the Flyers controlled the flow of the game. And there were times where the Flyers were getting really good control of the puck and getting some really great pressure down onto Vanacek, who was in net that night. So I really liked what the Flyers were doing in that game. They were taking all the mistakes they had made in Pittsburgh of chasing the game every 5 minutes, and there were times where the Capitals were chasing them. And the Caps were having a real hard time getting their hands on it, and the Flyers were causing turnovers left and right and getting great offensive opportunities. Ultimately, you win because of that. The Flyers had times where they controlled the game. It wasn't until the third period either that the Caps finally started to have any real true control. And the only reason why they did was because they scored a fluky goal on Jones. That's the only reason why, which is why hockey is what it is. Momentum can change on a dime. But in the end, though, you control the game, you dominate the play, you have the possession of the puck, and the other team is chasing you. You control the game, you win the game. And the Flyers did.
Absolutely. Jake said that Priz is around, but
okay.
Don't know where Don Don's been. I don't even think I've seen him in the
There's Jesse.
chat. Oh, hey, Jesse, where you been? I was literally just asking about you. So I like Chris's comment here. He wants to know what happens when Hayes comes back. He says he wants to drop him to the second, or he puts him on the second, drops Brassard to the third, and you drop Oscar to the fourth. What I do is I would keep Brassard and put him on the left wing on the second line, put Hayes at center, and keep Cam on the right wing. And then what I would do is I keep Oscar where he is. I know he's been kind of disappointing, but the fourth line, I try and keep that like my grit line. I want to try and keep Oscar with guys who can create some kind of offensive chances and maintain some kind of possession, because I think he just needs to get going. I think if you get him a couple goals, I think he really starts to move, but I don't want to shake up too much because you're really starting to get some chemistry with some of these guys. Hayes, I would love with Brassard on the left wing and Atkinson on the right wing, and I think you got 2 shooters on both sides, and you got Hayes, who's a pretty good playmaker in the middle. That could cause some trouble. I think that could definitely cause some trouble.
Absolutely. And as for Oscar, I've seen he's trying. He's really trying to get into those spots. I think sometimes he's trying a little too hard. And it's kind of like what Konechny was going through, where his hands are getting tight on that stick. He's desperately trying to get that goal when he's getting those opportunities. And I get it. You want to get goal. I get that. But let's give Oscar a chance. He'll bounce back. I'm sure he will. And yeah, Farabee hasn't contributed anything yet, but like I said, give Farabee time. He'll get something going again. It's going to happen.
Right. Joel. No, he's asking me. I forgot Joel's on the second line.
Yeah.
Maybe what I do is maybe drop TK to the third until he figures out his scoring touch and put Farabee up with Couturier and Giroux. I think that would be a good move. But yeah, I forgot about Farabee on the second line. Yeah. So swing Giroux to the left wing, keep Couturier at center, and put Farabee at left or right wing. And you move TK down to the third stick him with Oscar and Lawton. I think that could help TK a little bit. He needs to figure out his whatever the hell is going on in his head of what type of player that he wants to be. Because we know he could be a 20-goal scorer, 25-goal scorer, 30-goal scorer. He just needs to figure it out. They're paying him a decent amount of money to be a goal scorer, and he's not doing it. So to me, you drop him down. Drop him down. You move Farabee up one and put him with the two, because you know that Farabee can flirt with 35 goals. So you put him with the two guys that can get him to 35 goals.
Yeah.
Jesse, man, everything's going good down here, brother. I appreciate you asking that. We've missed you the last couple weeks. Didn't know if you got the memo that we moved to Tuesdays. And no, man, it's good to hear from you. It's good to hear from you, for real.
Then he also says, side note, it's been pretty warm for November out here in the Rockies. Just waiting for the ponds to freeze.
It's been actually kind of cold down here. It's actually starting to warm up a little bit finally.
It's been pretty chilly up here too. Yeah,
it's been cold down here.
Chris saying it must be Hazy, Atkinson, and playmaker / scorer.
And that's what you're getting from Brassard. Brassard is that it has that playmaking ability. He is technically a sniper
who got
he
his
does have
first
that playmaking ability.
And he did get his first goal on Saturday against Washington as a Flyer. He got a beautiful shot right on top shelf. He just blasted it right past Vanacek to get his first goal as a Flyer. So there you go. And Dylan saying,
because I thought he had his first goal a couple weeks ago, but maybe I was wrong.
It might have been I think it might have been a preseason one, but I believe that was his first. But then again, maybe he got credit with a deflection.
He's got two.
Oh, okay. Then maybe he got his first one.
But anyway,
must have been a game I missed. But anyway, Dylan saying AV should mess with the Lions a bit until players get their confidence back. Sutter put Monahan on the fourth line with Lucic and Lewis / Richardson, and he scored 2 goals and is regaining confidence.
I mean, that could work, but I mean, some of these coaches, you know, I'm not big on shuffling the lines every game. I want to see these guys gain some chemistry together. We've already seen that Giroux, Couturier, and Farabee have chemistry together. So I want to keep that, try and get that going, and you know, create some offense that way. And obviously, we're not going to know about Hazy until he comes back. And I think he would be a pretty good fit for that line with Cam Atkinson and Derek Brassard. And then you have, I think, another good line would be TK Lawton and Oscar. And I'm all for trading. And I know Robbie's not going to like this when he hears it, but trading Albert Kubel. I love Kubel. I think he's a blue-collar player. He does a lot of the little things right. But maybe if you stick him on the fourth line, he could be okay with those guys. But with the way the roster is right now, somebody's got to be the odd man out. And I think right now with the way Kubel plays, you could get some nice little return for him. And he's still what, 25? So he's still relatively young. I think he's 25.
Yeah. Jesse's saying, I agree AV should shuffle the lines. Sometimes they get stagnant, and that's okay, but doesn't have to permanent, just maybe a few games to get guys going. Yeah, I understand. That's what Lavi would do when he would feel like play would get stagnant. He would shuffle the lines up, and he did it a lot when he was the Flyers coach.
John Stevens did the same thing.
Yeah.
He did that a lot as well, and I know when they traded for Albert. Oh God, what the hell was his name? Andrew Alberts. When they traded for him from Boston, he was not a big fan of that. So I guess they didn't do that a lot in Boston. And he was just kind of like, "Yo, this coach is changing the lines all the time." I'm sitting there listening to a conversation he's having. I'm trying to figure out who the hell he is because he looks so damn familiar. I'm like, oh, but I mean, I'm not all against it, but I'm not exactly for it. I don't want to see it changed every game because you need to try and figure out a way to create that chemistry, and a way to create that chemistry is to playing games together. So
absolutely,
maybe like every week, if the line's not producing the way you want them to, all right, shuffle the deck a little bit. Yeah. But if you got a line that's producing, don't fix what's not broken.
No, yeah, absolutely. I mean? Yeah, don't. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Right.
And Dylan saying, I agree to not shuffle lines every game. Analytics showed Monahan relied on Johnny to produce. Sutter is simply making Monahan produce for himself, which I understand. And then
No, and I get that. I get that mindset. And I'm all about that mindset. But certain guys, I mean, Daryl Sutter's a little more ballsy than some of the other coaches that are out there now, and you're not going to see like Daryl Sutter's old school. He's an old school guy. I mean, AV's kind of like that in between. Like he's that player friendly, but he's going to put his foot in your ass if you don't do something his way type of coach. You know what I mean? So I don't see him moving any of his top guys to the fourth line. I mean, maybe Kubel. I mean, if it regains confidence, I'm all about it because I want to see TK needs to find his scoring touch again because it's gone. It's gone. I'm convinced that it's gone. But he does a good job of making guys take stupid penalties. So he does play with some grit. So he still has some value.
By the way, what I want to do too is shout out a few players that actually did rather well after one player that I think did really well after having a bit of a rough go of it in Pittsburgh was Ristolainen. He didn't have a great game in Pittsburgh, but he recovered well in Washington, and he actually did a really good job of taking shots into the net, and a lot of those opportunities wound up leading to scoring chances and wound up leading to opportunities that got down on Vanacek. And he did have some good moments where he threw the body down in a necessary situation. So I think Risto, rough game against Pittsburgh, but he recovered well against Washington. I think he's getting it down. It's just, it takes a minute. He's still in a situation, that it's going to take. Dylan saying Ristolainen trying to earn that payday to this offseason. No, I mean, it's definitely the last year of his contract, so that's definitely going to make you want to play up. Hopefully, a little bit more than just that. But
no, I think Risto had from what I heard, had a much better game. But what I would like to see more of is exactly that, Maddie, from this team is not necessarily scoring on the first chance, but the secondary chances, third chances, taking a shot from the point, having bodies out in front, digging for the puck, digging for a rebound. So Risto is one of those guys that can do that. I want to see Provy do that a little bit more. I would love to see Ellis do that when he comes back. They need guys in front of the net to do that. And, you see a lot of these players now, like goals, whether they're dirty or pretty, it doesn't matter. They all count the same. So it's not about always getting on the ESPN top 10. It's winning hockey games. And one of the ways to do that is you're not going to always have the pretty play. Like you're going to see Stammer's goal at some point. Like that was a highlight goal. But your secondary chances, your third chances, be gritty, be dirty, get into the dirty areas, dig. You gotta win puck battles, and got to figure out ways to put the puck in the net. And it's like I said, it's not always going to be on the first shot. So do more. They should do more of that because they got the guys that can shoot on the blue line.
They do.
Sanheim's got a shot. Provy's got a shot. Ellis has a shot. Risto has a shot. Brawny has a shot. So just kind of get that mentality of, okay, if they have a 2-pass play made out, maybe go one more, get it back to the blue line and take a shot. Yeah. But the important thing to doing that is getting somebody out in front.
Now this one right here, Chris Dunn saying the laziness of JVR is driving me crazy for what his salary is. We could do so much more once he is gone. He takes way too many shifts off, and he only hits when he feels like it. Now,
that's just the old man in him starting to come out. He's older than I am. No, he's not.
Dylan is saying the JVR Lawton Lindblom line is third in the league in expected goals. Just shows that they get chances, but need to bury them. Lawton actually did bury one in Pittsburgh. That was the game-tying goal. So Superman has had, and he had a goal against Arizona too last week. So Lawton's been starting to get some opportunities burying them. Would like to see Lindblom bury some. That would be nice. But hey, if Superman's getting a few, then that's a good thing to say. But Benny's saying agree on Risto, and this is coming from me, who has not been a fan of Risto.
A lot
Ted,
of people haven't. A lot of people didn't like that trade, but I'm still a fan of it.
Yeah.
It's still too early to tell. They're only like 7 games in.
that
8
too,
games
and
in,
also
like that.
again, it's Buffalo. It's like that first round pick. Do we really think they're going to take advantage of that? But we'll talk about that in a minute.
That's
Ted
facts.
saying,
I mean, like I said, Risso's been only in 8 games for the Flyers, so
true, and then also giving up Haig. Haig, he's not a bad player, but he wasn't lighting the world on fire. Ted saying Flyers 6-2-2, Brian's Ducks 6-4-4. We're both doing good this year. Yep.
So I'm surprised. I'm surprised by Anaheim. I love it. I'm not gonna lie. I love it. Young guys really stepping up for Anaheim and doing some good things.
And Jesse's saying McEwen and Thompson deserve a spot on the 4th. Those guys give pure energy. While I like Knack's game, if they do trade Knack, I think they would be more than okay.
I would be more than okay with it too, because they got energy guys now. You know what I mean? So guys that are going to be gritty and get into the dirty areas, throw the weight around, throw the fisticuffs if they have to. These guys, those two aren't afraid to do that. Knack, not so much. I mean, Knack will get into the dirty areas. He'll battle in the corners. He'll win some puck battles. Some of these guys are saying that he takes dumb penalties. I mean, I'm looking at the stats right now, and Albert Kubel has only taken 3 penalties so far this season.
And the Devils just scored, so that will give them a 5-3 lead. So they might very well win this game tonight against the Panthers here in the 3rd period. I believe it was Pavel Saka who got that goal.
Tampa. So the 3rd period is getting underway in Tampa. But I mean, to the guy saying that he takes stupid penalties, takes too many penalties. He's taken 3. He's 3. 6 penalty minutes so far this year.
That's not. That's not really any time at all. And Dad's saying, Brian, by what score do the Ducks will lose to the Canucks tonight?
The way the Ducks are playing, the way Gibson's playing this year,
I think we might need to reverse that. How much will the Canucks lose to the Ducks tonight?
I would consider, maybe rephrasing that a little bit. Getting a little too cocky over there for a team that's sitting in second to last in the Pacific Division there, bruh.
Jesse saying, I agree with...
see that coming.
Yeah. Jesse saying, I agree with Chris to an extent. Swap JVR with any, and I mean any $8 million man, and our team is vastly improved.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. JVR he takes shifts off, and he takes some games off and stuff like that. So I totally get where Chris is coming from. I agree with them to an extent. Again, he's getting paid $7.5 million, should be producing more. So I totally agree.
Dylan saying, Ducks started the Flames point streak. So he then goes on to say, we'll beat the Sharks for you if you beat the Canucks tonight. Fair deal?
Done. Done. Consider it done, Dylan. I got you.
And the Devils just scored again, it looks like. So, yeah, they're going to win this one. It looks like they're up by 3 now in the 3rd period.
All right, so while we got a chance here, we got a moment. Let's do a scoring update here, Matty.
Sure, go right ahead.
Just do me a favor. Who's the scoring update brought to us by?
The scoring update is brought to you by, hold on, let me pull out those reads here. And it will be, okay. 2nd period sponsor. We'll do that. And it is for anybody struggling with any kind of mental health addiction or not mental health addiction, but any kind of drug addiction or any kind of mental health issues, please go to Sunrise Detox and Counseling Center. Give them a call at 856-651-8117. These are serious issues. Get you or the loved one the help that they need. Counseling Center, Sunrise Detox, 856-651-8117. Brian, the floor is yours.
Got a bunch of games on tap here tonight. So we got 2 late games tonight. We got Vancouver and Anaheim, obviously, as we're talking about. And we also have, change the day. We have Seattle and Vegas also going off at 10 o'clock. San Jose and Calgary going head-to-head at 9 o'clock as well. Some of the games in progress right now. At the end of the 2nd period, the Ottawa Senators are down 3-2 to the Boston Bruins, getting ready to start the 3rd period, under a minute left in intermission. Early in the 3rd period, we got the Kings over the Canadiens, 2-1. The current game that I'm watching, Tampa Bay Lightning are up 1-0 at the beginning of the third period against the Carolina Hurricanes. Devils up 6-3 to the Panthers in midway through the third period. Closer to the end of the second, we got the Red Wings on top of the Oilers, 3-0 right now. Where's Don when you need him?
Yeah.
We got St. Louis up on the Winnipeg Jets by a score of 1-0 midway through the second period. Closer to the end of the first, we have the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Chicago Blackhawks dead locked at 0. So that's everything that's going on as of right now.
All right, then.
Let's go
Detroit.
Seriously. If Anaheim wins tonight, that pulls us within 1 point of first place. Wow.
Boy, if you guys get first place, even though it's just the beginning of the season, that's still like, holy shit.
Let's go.
Like, holy shit, who the hell would have saw that one coming where it's like, oh, yeah, and the top team in the Pacific Division is the Anaheim Ducks. I'm like, what? Did we take a time machine and go back to, like, 2011 or 13 or some shit? Like, when
Let's
the fuck?
15.
What?
Let's just say
15. Okay, 15. All right.
I'm about it. I'm all about that. Let's fucking go. Let's go, boys. Let's fucking go.
Oh, but anyway. All right, so in the second period now, after the scoring update, time to talk about the Flyers versus the Maple Leafs. Auston Matthews, the other big-time player, coming to town for the first time this year in Philadelphia with the Maple Leafs. Flyers hoping to make that trip a little bit of a painful one for the Maple Leafs. Now, the Leafs have not exactly been lighting the world on fire, but at the same time, they've been recovering slowly. What do you expect from this game, Brian? What do you think is going to be a big thing that's going to happen in this game?
Which game?
Maple Leafs versus the Flyers tomorrow night.
Okay. All right. In Toronto, or are they home?
Oh, it's home. It's in Philly.
It's in Philly?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I think we're going to see a nice little ovation for old friend Wayne Simmons. So I think that's going to be nice to see for that longtime Flyer and really beloved player. Everybody loves Simmer. But I mean, I don't necessarily know what to expect because this Toronto team is kind of bipolar. You're either going to get a really good game out of Toronto or you're going to get kind of a shit show, as it were. So it's tough. I think we could see anything from an offensive. And by that I mean like it could be a shootout. It could be a shootout. Like I don't know. Like I don't know how else to phrase it. I don't think we're going to see any kind of a defensive game whatsoever. So if I'm the Flyers, maybe I consider starting Marty Jones, and just to see what happens. Maybe save Carter Hart a little bit. But there's a lot of offensive firepower in this game, so I expect a high-scoring game. I expect some fisticuffs to fly. It is Wayne Simmons, after all. I mean, outside of those first two lines, there's really not much of Toronto that really scares me. I mean, you have William Nylander and Jonathan Tavares and Auston Matthews, all guys to be worried about and concerned about, but I fully don't know what to expect from this game because, like I said, Toronto's been pretty bipolar.
No, I got you.
Yeah, I'm like, get hyped and go to bed.
And Dylan did go on to say, Flyers will win if no one shows up besides Auston Matthews, and it has been kind of one of those things. I mean, I did find that funny, though. This will always be remembered. When the Maple Leafs lost to the Sharks and the fan took his jersey off and threw it onto the ice, they were that pissed off.
2 games into the season.
I know. It's so
fraud that guy is.
I just love it. But what I find hilarious too, Leafs do miss Zach. Yeah, they do. Yeah. But what I find funny though about Toronto is that here's a team that has had all of this talent that they've had over the last few seasons. And now I think they're really starting to truly feel the pinch of what happened when they put so much money. Don't get me wrong, you were going to pay a nice king's ransom to Auston Matthews. Then you did the same thing for Mitch Marner. You also gave John Tavares a big, hefty contract. So the thing is, it's like you're investing a lot into 3 players. What about the depth? What about that? Because that's something that's probably going to make or break you in the playoffs. And it's broken them. On multiple occasions, it's broken them. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how the Maple Leafs handle this year going into it. They say Marner is having a bounce-back year. Well, yeah. Can't argue. Yeah. Can't argue that.
I mean, he has to. What happened in the playoffs last year, he absolutely has to. He's making way too much money, and he's way too talented of a player to not be producing the way that he should be. And he's making a lot of money.
The Leafs will be making those contracts Coyotes legends one day.
Dude, that is fact. That's straight fact. Because how many guys have been traded to Arizona just to say, let's get his contract off the books?
I mean, hell, we did that with Gostisbehere in this.
Coyotes legend, Pavel Datsyuk.
No. We traded the rest of Chris
legend,
Prongers.
Chris Pronger.
Yeah.
Arizona Coyotes legend, fill in the blank. That is not Shane Doan because he actually played for them. Hence
True.
The joke.
Yeah.
But
I mean, hell, we traded Gostisbehere to the Coyotes for nothing because it's like, well, listen, we need to free up this cap space.
They got nothing in return.
It's like, we need to free up this cap space. Here, you guys need a D-man. Take Gostisbehere. We don't want him anymore.
I mean, I think he's playing pretty. I think he's playing better.
He is. He's been playing pretty well for Arizona. He actually finally got on the board, albeit though the Coyotes lost still. But
have they even won yet?
They have one victory. One, and we'll get to that.
They beat Seattle.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah. Leave it to the expansion team to be the one that Arizona beats, right? Listen, it's an expansion year. They can be forgiven for that loss. If another team had lost to them, though, then they would absolutely deserve to be pointed and laughed at.
I will say I love Ted's question because their best player right now is somebody that I would have never expected at all. Like you would think maybe Trevor Zegras, Jamie Drysdale, maybe Ryan Getzlaf, Adam Henrique. Nope. You know who their leading goal scorer is and their current best player?
John Gibson.
Troy Terry. Troy Terry is their best player right now, leading the team in goals and assists and points. I love it. I mean, he was when they drafted him, they expected him to have a huge offensive upside, and it's been a struggle early on in his career. Injuries have kind of plagued him a little bit too. He has been phenomenal for Anaheim early on. He's had some huge goals, and the consistency that he's had early on, I hope it continues because I like the kid. I always have. I thought I saw tremendous upside in his play. Just couldn't find any finish. And now he's finding some finish. So Troy Terry is starting to pay his dividends. I think this is definitely going to be his breakout year. I'm excited. The team's in third. If things go well tonight, they're a point out of first. Let's go.
Right now, I've turned on the Flames and the Sharks game, which just got underway. I believe it was.
You should put this game, Carolina and Tampa, on. It's getting interesting.
That's all right. You got that covered. I got this one covered. And I believe it was Canada Appreciation Night for veterans in the Canadian Army because they were having a big celebration and tribute right before the game started. Dylan saying,
how did that stay out?
Dylan saying, heard Seattle might be trading Giordano by the deadline. Would be great for the Flames to get him back. Well, that would be great for the Flames to get him back. But my question is, why would Seattle trade Giordano, their captain, at the trade deadline? I'm very confused by that.
I like Mark Giordano. I don't expect him to stay in Seattle. To be completely honest with you, even if he does get past the trade deadline and stays in Seattle for the full season, I think he's done after this year anyway. I believe he's on the last year of his contract. Am I right, Dylan? Because you're the Flames guy.
Yeah,
I believe he is on the last year of his contract, which is kind of why they left him open. plus his age. But I love Giordano, and I think he's ideal for that situation. And I don't see him getting moved yet. I definitely think he is.
Dylan
I
saying
think Giordano
Kachuk
is something special. Always has been.
He did say Kachuk is and should be the Flames captain.
Did I mess it up? Did I say something else?
I don't think so.
But
But I think he was just making a comment there. Anyway,
Probably.
Jesse saying trade Knack for Mark G and make Cam York live with Yandel and Mark G.
I think that's the last thing the Flyers need is an aging, and I mean aging defenseman.
We invested a lot.
I love him though.
We are.
Yeah, so Gio is on the last year of his deal, so
Okay.
I think that's why they left him exposed, and so he could get moved, but I think naming him the captain was one, the smart move, and two, I think just because they named him the captain, I think they're going to hold on to him for the full year, and then replace him in free agency and try and get somebody else to wear that C.
Dylan did say Flames don't have a captain right now, but 3 is Kachuk, Monahan, and Tanev are the ones that are up for it, apparently.
I like it. I love the idea that they don't have a captain yet. Make him earn it. See who the guy is that steps up. I like Matthew Kachuk. I think he could. I think Monahan could be a better captain. I don't know about Tanev. I don't know if I'd ever give Tanev. I mean, Tanev's a good leader. He's a good player, but I don't necessarily think I could see him as a captain. But between Kachuk and Monahan, I think that those are your two best candidates for a captaincy for the Flames' future.
I think Tanev is a really great depth player. He's one of those guys that you would put in like maybe third line, sometimes second line if you have to. You know, I like the idea that Tanev would be that kind of guy for depth reasons that you would bring in because he's just one of those blue collar players that you would fall in love with real fast.
Flames got to re-sign Kachuk, Gaudreau, and Mangiapane this offseason.
And if Kachuk resigns, he gets it. I could see that happening. Kachuk would make sense.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money between 3 players. I love Mangiapane. Yeah. Like, he's probably one of the more under-the-radar, really good players in this league. And it's a shame because he gets no notice because he's in Calgary.
I mean, it happens. But you know what? That may not be a bad thing, though. Sometimes some players are good when the spotlight is not directly on them, you know? But
Carolina needs to score on this power play. They're currently on the power play, about $1:23 left, and they're about midway through the third period.
So to close up our second period topic here, Bri, Flyers Maple Leafs score prediction.
I could see a 6-4 win for the Flyers.
Wow, that is a high scoring game. Whew. We haven't had one of those.
Offensive firepower in this game.
That's true, and we haven't had a real high-scoring Flyers game in a little bit. It's been a minute.
No, it really hasn't. They're due.
Yeah,
to explode, and I think they do it.
I would say, for me, I'll go with a 5-2 Flyers victory with an empty netter for the 5.
I will say this, though, and I didn't bring it up when we were doing the initial previews. Flyers have the edge in goaltending. I like Jack Campbell. I think Jack Campbell is a solid goaltender, but I think the Flyers could easily expose him.
Yeah.
The defense in Toronto isn't great. They're good, but they're not great. So I think that's a huge reason as to why it could be a huge offensive explosion and wind up being a 10-goal type of game, and it's going to be an interesting game to say the least. I'll tell you that right now. Sit down, I'll be right back.
Okay, then. Dylan saying Kachuk and Gaudreau will be $9 million plus. Mangiapane wants $5+ million. If he gets it, 30+ goals apparently. Well then, nothing like setting a goal for someone to reach. Like, kid, if you want $5 million or you want more than that, and you need 30+ goals there, bud. Or in other words, get the fuck out of here. Fuck you think you are? What do you think this is? You think this is the era of Jerome McGinley? We just got money just laying around? Fuck you. All right, then. So we go on into the third period where we start talking about around the NHL. There's plenty of stuff to talk about, and that's exactly what we'll be getting into now. And our third period sponsor is FanUp, which is a little bit of a sports app that we have available for everybody out there. Listen, guys, if you want to make some money and you want to do it by doing some, fantasy sports, maybe throw a few little bets around here and there, FanUp is the best way to go. You get daily NFL contests and more. You can win great prizes. And if you sign up today and use promo code HUD, you get 5,000 points, which is a $50 value. And you go to fanup.app, download it, and before you know it, start placing some bets, start placing some parlays. Before you know it, get yourself some cash.
And you know what you can use that extra cash for?
What?
HUD membership, baby, $9.99 a month. Get all kinds of perks. You get betting advice that you can use on FanUp. You get betting advice you can use on some other apps that you decide to use, but we prefer you to use FanUp.
Of course.
You also have all kinds of other great perks, appearances on shows with us. You can get special shout-outs, weekly sports picks. We have all kinds of raffles. You become a HUD member, you can get in the jersey raffle. We send you a jersey just because we raffled you off. We picked your name. All kinds of perks to be a HUD member, right? Do something great today. Sign up for it. It's $9.99 a month, like I said. All kinds of great perks to go with it. And you might win some money if you're a degenerate gambler like I am. By the way, while I was away, Canes did tie it to Benny's comment there. It was a beautiful power play goal by Teuvo Teravainen. What an underrated player, too. Like, you don't hear his name a lot, but he's the guy who does a lot for the Hurricanes.
He does. 00 saying Flyers are still the only team to beat the Edmonton Oilers. I love it.
Until tonight. Right now, I don't know if it's still 3-0, but Detroit is winning 3-0.
It's Detroit. Yeah. All right.
Let me see that score. Let me make sure. Because otherwise, I'm going to be extremely disappointed because I don't want them to beat them. It's not even up to... Oh, it's the end of the second. All right, cool. Still 3-0. Let's go. Let's go Detroit.
All right. Okay, then. So, with that, it's time to go around the league. It's time to talk about some of the big things that have been happening. We'll start off with... We'll start off with the bad news. Get it out of the way. Bri, because it involves the Ducks, take it away.
So as of today, Bob Murray has been, I don't want to say removed, but put on administrative leave from the Anaheim Ducks, going under investigation for an unprofessional conduct. They didn't go too far into what is going on, what's being investigated, but Bob Murray has been told that he is a dick by Ryan Whitney. Ryan Whitney's come out to say that, who has played for him. So Whit Dog definitely does know a little bit more about him personally, but unprofessional conduct in Anaheim could see removal of Bob Murray as the GM pending the investigation. Not a lot of info out. They're keeping it in-house, which I like. So that's pretty much what's going on in Anaheim right now.
All right. Well, hopefully, if the investigation proves that there is overwhelming evidence right now that he was doing some BS, then hopefully they do what they got to do and they get rid of him. But
they haven't said sexual misconduct like the situation in Chicago, so that could be a good thing. But I wanted Bob Murray out as a GM anyway. I think he's long overstayed his welcome. I mean, he won a Stanley Cup in 2007. He's still there. So I wanted him out anyway. Not exactly the way I wanted him to be removed, but I'm not even going to sit here and say that I'm going to take what I can get. But not something you really want as a fan of a team, especially with everything that's come out in Chicago and to 00's point here, Pittsburgh as well.
Mm-hmm. But on that note, we'll transition on to the big news that hit the airwaves for the NHL. And I believe it hit Thursday. And it was Jack Eichel, the drama, as the Jack Eichel turns, or the Jack of our lives, is finally, it's over. That program, that soap opera is officially off the air. It's not getting renewed for a new season. It has. Oh, Priz has finally arrived. Hello, Priz.
My dude's tired as hell.
He has to be.
His work schedule's rough. It really is. That's all right. We missed you, Priz. We were looking for you all night.
Yeah.
Got a lot going on. We got a lot to talk about.
Oh, yeah, and this is one of the big ones. So, with those TV dramas officially canceled, Jack Eichel is officially now a proud card-carrying member of the Vegas Golden Knights. The trade has officially come down. Buffalo, in exchange, got Tuck and got a couple of picks in return.
There's another player involved in it too, but I think he was a borderline prospect.
Oh, okay. And then they're going back the other way to Vegas. Besides Eichel, was a third-round pick, just for the hell of it, I guess. But anyway, so yeah, he's now a member of the Golden Knights, albeit though not yet. Really, he hasn't officially played a game because he is getting the surgery that he's been wanting for a long time, and the Golden Knights are allowing him to get that surgery. That whole drama started because it was an experimental surgery, and teams really do not. A lot of teams would rather the safer, more proven surgery be the one that guys go after instead of the one that he wanted, and that became a standoff there. But to be fair, new evidence has been reported apparently that he requested a trade during the year of the bubble. So he requested a trade in 2019. I know that there was that rumor going around that a lot of people were kind of laughing off it a little bit, but it turns out that was actually true apparently. And then on top of it as well, he was asked straight out, like, if the Sabres had given you clearance, would you have stayed in Buffalo? And he really did. What happened?
Huge opportunity. I don't know how it didn't go in.
Yeah.
He just got his skate over.
And, but yeah, they did ask him outright. It's like, if the Sabres had given you the clearance, would you have stayed? And he really honestly wasn't sure if he would have. So really, from what Eichel's been saying, he really was done with Buffalo. He was done with their shit, and he wanted out. Now, does this paint Buffalo in a bad light? I don't think so. I think it just makes it more obvious that Eichel just really wanted out. That's all it is. It wasn't that Buffalo was being rude to him. He just didn't want to be there anymore, and he saw his out when he got hurt. And I'm like, and honestly, it doesn't make Eichel look bad either, because you know what? I don't blame him. Why would I waste my prime years of being a top, draft pick and being this phenomenal player? Why would I waste my time with a team that didn't put anything around me, desperately tried to make me and Sam Reinhart carry the team, and we could only do so much because we were human after all. Hockey's a game where you got to put a team around someone, and Buffalo failed at it miserably. So it's one of those things where, yeah, I wanted out, and he got his out. So that's pretty much what that says to me. He really didn't want to be in Buffalo anymore, and he finally got his out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little confused by this deal. Not that him going to Vegas is necessarily a good thing or a bad thing, but I mean, let's think about it. Let's look at this Vegas roster real quick. You got Jack Eichel. Lord knows when he's coming back.
Yeah.
You have Alex Pietrangelo. You have Mark Stone. You have Max Pacioretty. You have William Karlsson. Should I really go on? Because let's be real. This is a team of all-stars.
Pretty much.
They're a fucking all-star team. It's ridiculous. You gave up Alex Tuck, a prospect, a first, and a third for Jack Eichel and a third. That's the deal, right?
Pretty much.
Calgary gave you more. Calgary gave him a much better offer than what Vegas did. I don't get it. Well, the reported offer, I should say. I don't get it. I guess Vegas. I mean, I can see the allure of going to Vegas. Good young franchise, has yet to miss the playoffs. Playing with Alex Pietrangelo and Mark Stone and all the guys I just listed off. There's an allure there. Like, I get it. The fan base is crazy. It's an atmosphere. It's a show. It's a presence. It's it's whatever. It's everything. I guess Vegas was the only team that sat there and said, yeah, if it gets you back to being you, being that guy you were when you first came to the league, we'll let you get your surgery.
Yeah. No, I mean, maybe this is the move that puts Vegas over the top. Hopefully it does, because, like Dylan said, they're going to be 21 mil over the cap next year, I think, which they'll make adjustments next season to obviously avoid this. But still, I mean, if this doesn't put them over the top, then I'm actually, if Vegas goes in, not this year, but next year, because I'm thinking that's probably when we'll see Eichel in a Vegas Golden Knights jerseys next year. If next year rolls around and they haven't won a cup by then, or they go into the playoffs and they choke yet again in the third round, I'm going to cry laughing and be like, so you made a deal to get Jack Eichel and not only allow him to get his surgery and everything because you think that this is going to put you over the top and it still doesn't get the job done. It's like, Vegas, you're trying way too fucking hard. It's just not going to work.
I mean, they got to do what they got to do, right? I mean, they can afford all this, but to Dylan's point earlier, they're not going to have a ton of money. I mean, you get rid of Alex Tuch's contract, which I believe is 4.5.
About that, yeah. Very team friendly.
What is going on to my computer right now?
But by the way, Tuch he is a New York boy. He was a fan of the Buffalo Sabres growing up, so he gets to go for the team that he cheered for as a kid. So if anybody's wondering if Alex Tuch is feeling bad that he's leaving Vegas to go to Buffalo, he actually isn't. So,
I mean, I would feel bad.
Yeah.
You're going from a playoff team to bottom of the barrel, going to probably be in the draft lottery again type of team. But looking at his contract here, let's just run some of the numbers here. So we're looking at the Buffalo Sabres. We're looking at Alex Tuch right now. So the Buffalo Sabres are looking at a this is just his actual cap hit. He's looking at a 4.75. So that frees up a ton of money for Buffalo. That's going to free up about 6.5, roughly $6.5 million for Buffalo to go out and do some stuff with. You remove Jack Eichel's $10 million, but if you're looking at Vegas now, that's going to put Vegas in a very, very tough spot, and it's going to leave them with $0 in the projected cap space right now. Now, with Jack Eichel being a part of the team, let's look at some of the free agents here. You have Riley Smith coming out of a contract. Probably not going to be able to re-sign him. You have Evgeny Dadonov, who's going to be a free agent after next season. You have Matthias Janmark. Probably not going to be able to re-sign him. And Braden McNabb. Those are just the UFAs. Those are just UFAs. Those guys probably aren't coming back. You still have excuse me. Let's look at some of the RFAs. Notable RFAs. Not really any. Brett Howden. Probably need to get him back. Nicholas Roy. Going to need to get him back. Maybe Michael Amadio. I like Michael Amadio. He's not a bad player. You get him up off of waivers. You got to try and get him back under contract as well. But that doesn't leave them a ton of space. Now, that's just the active roster. Long-term injury reserve. Jake Bischoff, going to be a UFA. You have another season of Max Pacioretty before he's gone. You're going to have another few years of Mark Stone, and you have another few years of Jack Eichel. And then you have Nolan Patrick. That's a whole nother story. He's on the IR again. Zach Whitecloud isn't going to be anything. Ben Hutton is another non-roster player. He's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. So you're not going to have a ton of room to re-sign any of the guys that you feel like you're going to need to re-sign. I don't think Braden McNabb, who's one of the better defensemen in the league, is going to sit there and take a lesser contract to come back to Vegas. But you never know.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be a squeeze. It's gonna be a very big squeeze for the Golden Knights here because yeah, this is
double zeros. Sorry, Matty, no double zeros. Eichel's on a long-term deal.
Yeah,
long-term. He's still
which was one of the other major factors as to making it so difficult to trade him in the first place. It wasn't just the injury issue; it was also the fact of his contract.
5 years.
5 years left,
yeah. 5 years left, including this year.
Yeah. Ed Dillon saying, Flames offered them Dubé, Velimaki, Zari, and a first. Kachuk and Mangiapane were never discussed. Tree Living shut it down, which makes sense. I mean, Kachuk was on 1 year left on his contract anyway. Mangiapane was due for an extension. So I kind of get why some people would assume that those guys would be on the trade block, but at the same time, it's like, why would the Flames not want to try and re-sign them first? Yeah, that'd be kind of stupid,
I mean, I literally read the tweet that it was Kachuk, another player, and a first for Eichel and excess. And then I wake up the next morning and the trade happened. So I'm like,
and it's not the Flames.
It wasn't the Flames. I'm like, oh, you didn't want Matthew Kachuk? But
well, the fuck not. Something wrong with him?
I love Matthew Kachuk. Yeah. People hate him. I love him. He's a good player.
I don't have any problem either of the Kachuk brothers. Brady or Matthew, they're both really good players.
I'd rather have Matt over Brady, honestly. I think Matt plays with a little more grit, and I think he's a little bit of a better player.
I got you. Prism saying, yeah, Mark to Montreal next year, or Tampa for depth. Extra early prediction for Matthias. Or Matthias.
Bro, come on, Dan. I got my allergies are running wild right now, bro.
Whoever sniffles into the
cold. It's cold here 2 days ago, and now it's in the mid-70s again. So yeah, my allergies are going a little nuts. Cut me some slack.
And Dylan's saying Sabres just put that Kachuk was in the offer to get Vegas to up their offer. Kachuk addressed it Saturday and called it BS that media eats up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Same thing happens in Philly.
But let's see here. So Dan, in I would assume, a trolling statement, said there was some Carey Price news, which he is right.
I had that pulled up.
Yes, Carey Price did go, and he's getting his substance abuse issues taken care of. And he did have a quote, which I'm assuming that's what you're pulling up, right, Bri? I'm assuming that's what Bry's pulling up. But yeah, Carey Price unfortunately did have some substance abuse issues. He made it known, and he went to the NHL to go to the program so that he can get those problems taken care of and addressed, which is a great thing to see because I think Jimmy Hayes, this is a perfect example of, this is a wake-up call to a lot of the players who, whether it's because they're mentally depressed, which it seems like this was the case for a Carey Price, or if you were somebody who was, just partying it up and having a good time, like maybe a Mike Richards or Jeff Carter back in the day. I think that Hayes is a wake-up call for a lot of players, of substance abuse issues, a chance for them to take a moment and say, you know what, I got a problem, I got to go take care of it. And, Carey Price, he probably was. He probably was using during that playoff run, honestly. But, he wouldn't
surprise me one bit. Most of you'd be surprised how many players actually use.
Yeah. I mean, hockey being what it is, you play 82 regular season games, or less, but still a heavy dose. And it's always physical. It's always, very difficult to do every day. And, you're going to turn to things like that, sadly, and it becomes a vicious cycle of self-medicating and things like that, or just getting through by doing this. But like I said before, I think Jimmy Hayes, unfortunately, his passing away, it should be a wake-up call to a lot of the players that if you got a problem, go and get it taken care of. And it seems like that's what Price is doing. He was not in a good mental place, and he started abusing big time. Now it looks like he's trying to get those issues taken care of.
And I hope he does, because not only is he a hell of a goaltender, he's going to go down, in my opinion, as one of the top 10 goaltenders of all time. He's a hell of a person, too. Does a ton for Montreal, does a ton for the community, does a bunch for kids. And, he's a good dude on top of a good goalie. So, obviously, I don't want to see anything bad happen to him. Like, we know all the situations with Mike Richards and his cocaine addiction, and Jared Stoll getting caught with cocaine in his trunk, traveling from Canada, trying to get back to LA, and Jeff Carter probably doing lines off of Sidney Crosby's butthole and all kinds of other fun stuff. So, I mean, guys, people need to, and I know a lot of people, they realize it when it's too late, but, Carey Price is one of those guys that, you want to see him make himself better so he can be better, because I want to see him win a Stanley Cup before he retires. I do. Hate him for whatever reason you want to hate him for, but, root for him as a person. Root for him to beat this thing. Root for him for any number of reasons. Somebody that went through it. You had a family member, brother, sister, uncle, aunt, best friend, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, what have you. You root for him for that reason, because they couldn't fix the issue. So, I'm pulling for Carey. Like I said, I want to see him win a Stanley Cup. He deserves to have his name on that cup.
Yeah, and he did state that he isn't sure when he'll be playing again. He is more focused on getting the issues taken care of, which is fine. And take your time, man. Your health is more important at this point. Your mental health and your physical health as well. And right now, that's the more pressing matter at this point in time. And Chris Dunn saying Danny Green sucks. And
he has not been good for the Sixers this year. He has not been good.
But I mean, at the end of the day, it's good to see that Carey Price is getting this taken care of. And he's going and he's saying, I got an issue. And I think more people should follow his example. If you got a problem, don't hide it. Don't try and pretend that it. Don't be in denial. It's okay. We all have issues in our life. We all have problems sometimes upstairs that leads us to making stupid mistakes. Everyone's done that. Everyone. And when someone tells you they've never had that problem, they're a fucking liar. At the end of the day, Canes won it?
Canes won. It looked like it was Brady Shea.
Overtime or shootout?
Overtime.
Nice. But yeah, I mean, Montreal right now, with the situation that it is, I hope that Price will get his stuff taken care of and he'll be all right. But yeah, he's doing what he's got to do. He's admitted that he's got the problem and he's going to go get it taken care of. So, yeah, and that's a good thing to see. It's a good thing to see that, and hopefully he'll get better. And Montreal isn't competitive this year. Should take as much time away as needed. Yeah.
Absolutely. 1,000%, Dylan. 1,000%. He needs to get himself right before he steps back on the ice. Cole Caulfield controversy. I didn't hear about that. I know they sent him down. I know he wasn't a huge fan of that, but we'll see what happens. I mean, Montreal just, coming off of I don't even know, to be completely honest with you. Wow. If I'm Cole Caulfield, I'm just take it for what it is. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a punishment. There's a reason why you've been sent down.
I would say don't let chance for the Sharks, and that was a trip, and the ref didn't. Yes, he did call it. Yes, Tanev, you tripped him. Anyway, you tripped balls.
Wow, they called it offsides.
Oh, they called the goal from Shea offsides? Oh, Wow. So no, the game's still on.
Game continues.
But Chris saying Philly channel, I only watch Philly. Well, hopefully you're
We'll try to
enjoying
take, Chris.
Sixers, man. Hey, man, listen, that's perfectly fine, brother. All right.
Disappoint too much. Actually, I shouldn't say that because that's all Philly.
Yeah, we root for the Philly sports around here. I root for the Flyers. I do love the Sharks though too. But at the same time though, Brian, he likes the Flyers, but he roots for the Ducks. That's his team.
The only time I don't pull for the Flyers is when they play Anaheim.
Yeah, it's understandable.
Only time.
But yeah, we're all about Philly just as much as we're about the other teams. But everyone's always welcome, no matter what fan base you are. Like I said, we had a Pittsburgh fan hosting this show with us, so
we got a Devils fan. Why am I blanking on his name? Oh my god. Clinky's friend.
I know who. Honestly, I forget. Was it Dan? I think it was Dan or Dave.
No, it began with a D though.
Shit. Oh well. We're not even keeping track of our own hosts. What the fuck are we doing? Anyway, maybe we need to go to rehab.
You can head on over, go see Robbie Lutman over at Sunrise Detox. But what do I do, Miss Rob? Dean.
God damn it.
Dean Senzi. Yeah.
Yes, it was Dean.
Devils fan.
And he was a Devils fan. Yep. All right, so let's get into it. We took care of our third period topics, and first period just ended between the Sharks and the Flames. Neither team got a goal in the back of the net, so nothing at the end of one. Meanwhile, we will head to our overtime period / shootout period, where we'll do some rapid fire answers for you guys. And that is brought to you by our two sponsors here. First, starting off with All Campus OC. They're giving away a nice little deal for all subscribers. 20% off everything in their store, which includes hats, shirts, and their team cornhole sets. They also have the rant booth that happens every Friday, so you could join John Coyle there. And
Sunday mornings now, right now, Maddie.
Sunday mornings now? Oh, okay, so Sunday mornings. And if you want to join in on that, you can rant, rave, bitching, moan about something that's just annoying the hell out of you. So there you go. And also brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy. They now have concussion services available to you guys. Dr. Paul Vidal, he's our doctor. Make him yours. Bri, man, you know all about it.
Dr. Paul, he's the man. He do a great job fixing you up, getting you back to 100% and then some. They do a great job over Specialized Physical Therapy. They got oh my god, what is going on with me today? Two locations, one in Burlington and one in Cherry Hill. They were just recently awarded Best in South Jersey, I believe. So go see those rock stars over there at Specialized Physical Therapy. Dr. Paul, he's our doctor. Make him yours.
Nice.
I think I'm dying.
You might want to do something about that.
Thanks.
And whoever plays Dallas, Chris said, and then he finishes that off with, I lived in New Orleans for 10 years and didn't give a shit about their teams. Philly for life. Nice. 10 years.
I mean, depending on what time frame that was, Chris, I don't blame you because there was a time frame where the Saints sucked. And then, they had the Pelicans are there. That one will count.
Kane scored.
Counts. Yeah.
All right. Dan's saying, Brian, it's almost your bedtime. Go to sleep.
I got 9 minutes left before I have to go to bed.
9 more minutes, Dad.
Technically minutes. 15 because we still got the show going on for 15 more minutes. So
that's a good point. But anyway, so all right.
He's going to be complaining about me snoring instead of sniffling.
Yeah. All right, so we now have our segment for shootouts. And our shootout segment is where we're going to be giving hot takes and giving you the upset of the week, player of the week, game of the week, team to beat. Basically, those are going to be the big, we'll do quick fire answers and everything. And see if you guys agree on that or disagree on that. You guys get an opportunity to yell at us if you think we're idiots. We know you do, so.
I don't know if they think we're idiots, but they definitely want to yell at us from time to time.
Oh, yeah,
sure.
Definitely, yeah. All right, so we'll start off with biggest upset of the week. I'll start off with mine. 5-4, Arizona defeats Seattle. Why? Because Arizona has a fucking win somehow. Somehow, someway, they have a fucking win. And it's a shame, too. I was really hoping they would break the Capitals' record of, the shittiest team in the history of shitty teams. But, oh, well. Down the drain it goes.
Right? Right? So for me, I don't have to be tonight, actually. I'm going to double check it, make sure that it's a final. But right now, my biggest upset is Detroit over Edmonton right now. One of the best teams in the league versus Detroit.
All right.
And if Detroit still has the lead, let's see. It's 3-2 now with 6 minutes to go. So it could change. So as of right now, that's my biggest upset.
Okay, then. And player of the week for me, Connor McDavid. That goal that he scored on the Rangers, 4 defensemen stick checking him. He just goes right on by that shit and scores a goal. God damn. Just shat all over him. Anyway, right.
Well, not even just that, because that was actually my pick for that was Connor McDavid. Deacon, he just stick handled through everything. He didn't even touch anybody's stick, anything like that. The puck movement was beautiful. It was smooth, side to side, back. Oof. And then he gets to Georgiev and makes him look dumb. Georgiev gets up, looks at his defenseman, and is like, there's 4 of you. And one of him. Why is the puck behind me? That was pretty. Goal of the year, in my opinion. I don't know if anybody's going to top that.
That'd be hard to do that. But what the funny part of that is that I bet you...
He seriously got up. He seriously stood up, and I saw the look on his face. He's like, there's 4 of you.
What the fuck? That was such a great play, too. They actually showed it on the Flyers pregame before they played the Capitals.
Oh, it was just absolutely amazing. Beautiful play. It was. It totally beat his other goal when he deked through 2 guys. Obviously, he doubled up, but it was just, oh, my God, goal of the year.
And 00 saying, that's not bad. Let the Caps hold on to that record for the worst team in history. And Chris saying, unbelievable goal.
Oh, it was so unbelievable, dude. So unbelievable. If I didn't see it, I wouldn't have believed it.
And Chris saying, from Katrina, I moved, and 2 years they won the Super Bowl. I moved home 8 years later, and we won the Super Bowl. so
Chris brought a little luck with him.
Yeah.
I love it.
And Dan saying, not idiots, but absolute morons. Well, we thank you, Dan. We've been
Dan, you can go fuck yourself, bro. Just kidding.
All right. So, game of the week time. My pick, same game. Edmonton versus the Rangers, 6-5 in overtime. You all right?
I dropped my phone on my foot.
Oh, ow. Edmonton versus the Rangers, 6-5 OT for victory for Edmonton. Not only that Connor McDavid goal, but that game. What the fuck? That game is like a 1980s time capsule right there. You want to know what it was like to watch hockey back in the day? That's what it was like back then. It's like, holy shit.
Oh, yeah, that was definitely some old-time hockey. So for me, this game hasn't happened yet. This is going to be my game of the week. I think Carolina and the Flyers on Friday is going to be a tremendous game.
Okay, then.
Could potentially be a battle for first place. We'll see.
Could be.
We'll see.
All right, so now we go to our teams to beat. Mine is the Panthers. Although the Devils did beat them tonight. I still think that it's very important to get them because Panthers are having one hell of a year. And even with Quenneville having to resign and everything, hasn't slowed them down a bit. So I think Panthers, yeah, especially in that Atlantic Division, team to beat right now.
This one's tough. My team to beat? Oh, man. It's got to be Carolina. I'm going to stick with them. They're my running theme for the year. They're my pick to win the Stanley Cup. They're doing all the little things right. They really are. They're playing strong back-end hockey. They're getting great goaltending out of not Freddie Anderson, but Antti Ranta, too, before he went down. Backchecking has been phenomenal. They're doing a great job shutting teams down. They held Tampa to 1 goal, and I think they didn't even break 20 shots in the entire game. And then on the front side, power play has been pretty good for them. They've been getting a lot of offensive chances. They're doing magical things with the puck in the offensive zone. One thing that they should do a little bit better is try and maintain some time of possession. I thought Tampa Bay had that edge tonight, but for me, it's Carolina. I think they're the team to watch. They're absolutely.
All right. Dylan saying Flyers versus Flames next week will be the game to watch.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting. The Flames shut out the Flyers last time that they met over in the Saddle Dome, so this time it'll be in the Well. Should be an interesting game there. And Dan saying the Ducks. He was assuming you were going to pick the Ducks as the team to beat.
Yeah, right.
They're the team to beat for the Canucks, but for everybody else, maybe not. All right. And now on to the final one on the shootout segment, and that is the hot take of the week. And my hot take of the week, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl will start a dynasty for the Edmonton Oilers. That's my hot take for the week. Brian, how about you?
My hot take for the week? Ooh. Anaheim's in first place by the end of the weekend.
All right. Like it. Love it.
There'll be, if it holds out, and it looks like there's about 4 minutes left in the third in the Edmonton game. If it holds out, when Anaheim beats Vancouver, they're only a point out.
All right, then. So with that, that's the shootout segment. That's what we'll be doing at the end of the shows moving forward. And, yeah, you get to see what crazy shit comes out of our mouths on those hot takes and all of the other stuff that we like to throw out there at you guys. All right, then. And
We like to go a little bonkers sometimes.
And with that, is there any other major happenings around the league that, Brian, that you wanted to bring up that we might have missed?
I don't think so. I think we've covered just about all the big stuff.
All right, then.
I do want to say, though, I didn't get a chance to talk about it last week. Real quick, I do want to just say that I have Kyle's back with everything that happened in Chicago, and he has my support and all this stuff, and you know, just how awesome he has been over the last 2 months with everything that's been going on, and him coming out and confronting everything and telling his side of the story. You know, more power to him, and you know, huge props for him. He's got a ton of respect from me for everything that he's done over the last few weeks, and not allowing this to end his career. Continuing to play hockey in, I believe, Germany. So great for him, and I hope he continues his career. Maybe one day he finds his way back to the NHL. Who knows? But hopefully he can continue to keep growing from this, and you know, continue his career over in Europe, and hopefully he can find a way to be better because of it instead of letting it control him. So
Absolutely.
that's it.
And Dylan was saying hot take, Jacob Markstrom for Vezina.
I
And
don't know if that's much of a hot take. I could definitely see that happening if he has a good enough season. He's got to have a bounce back year, though. He's got to have a bounce back year because Calgary brought him in after an amazing year with Vancouver, and he just kind of crapped the bed a little bit. So
I think that
I'm all for it, Dylan.
I think the Flames in general did. I think that it was a rough year last year for them. But
It looks like Edmonton is about to lose. 45 seconds left.
all right then. So, fortunately, the Flyers will have some company with them on terms of beating the Oilers. Hey, we got Wills saying, "What's good, my boys? What's going on, Wills?"
What up, Willie?
And Dylan saying he's never played a full healthy season. He was great last year until he got hurt, so fingers crossed he stays healthy. Well, right now he's doing well in this particular game between them and the Sharks. Nothing right now at the end of one. Still an intermission. But with that, though, guys, I believe that will round us out.
You know. The more you know.
Yeah. And one thing, too, in terms of Kyle Beach, I stand with you, Bri. I support the guy, obviously, And I find it very brave that he came forward, and he wasn't just John Doe anymore. He said that I was the player that was sexually assaulted by Brad Aldrich. And, it's good that he did that. He gets a chance to tell his story, and he gets a chance to help inspire others who have unfortunately been victims of sexual assault. And hopefully he can continue to tell his story and hopefully be an inspiration to others to say it's okay, you'll be supported, and people will stand with you, and so hopefully that'll continue to happen. But with that being said, though, guys, we thank you for joining us. As always, it was a fun time. And next week, we will have a game to react to. And it will be the Flyers versus the Flames, as was alluded to earlier in the show and by Dylan a few moments ago. And that will be the Hall of Fame night. So the Flyers will be facing the Flames the same night that they are inducting both Paul Holmgren and Rick Tocchet into the Flyers Hall of Fame. So it's definitely going to be an exciting one to cover next week here on the Hockey Happy Hour. Dan saying, later, guys, got to go slaughter some ducks.
Bye, Dan. That's what I'm going to say. I'll let my team do my talking.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you, and we'll see you guys next week. One last sponsor before we send, a couple more that we didn't have a chance to read off before we send you guys along. And that is La Terrain. For anyone who needs to get a watch, go to laterrain.com. Use the A2D code, get 10% off of your order. If you want to look flashy for the ladies or the guys, and if you want to just have athletic wear, casual wear, and you don't want to keep pulling your phone out every 5 minutes, you just want a nice watch down there so you can take a quick look at the time, La Terrain's the way to go. And, of course, as always, to round it out, our show sponsor, Body Check Wellness, 25% off of your order. Founded by Riley Cote. These are products to help with clarity, balance, dieting. They're helping you mentally and physically to get you in the right spot in your life, not only for health, but for just motivation at the end of the day. That's what these are used for. That's what these products are for. So bodycheckwellness.com, A2D for 25% off for using that promo code. And help get yourself in shape and help get your life in the right spot, right mental situations. All right, guys. We thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week for the Flyers and the Flames Hall of Fame night. We'll see you then, guys. Peace and love.
Be good.